The Jacobi Medallion represents Mount Sinai's long and rich tradition of excellence. For over 7 decades, Mount Sinai has been awarding the medallion, each year honoring alumni, faculty, and administrators for their distinguished achievements. This year, honorees include our Dermatology Chair, who is a world-renowned researcher, Mount Sinai Chief Financial Officer, who has contributed to the health system growth and financial success, our esteemed Chief Development Officer and Senior Vice President for Development, who has been instrumental in the success of 2 capital campaigns during his tenure at Mount Sinai, an internationally recognized interventional cardiologist and clinical research expert, and a legendary laryngologist interested in treating voice and swallow disorders. These Jacobi recipients are exceptional physicians, visionary researchers, great educators, and talented administrators. They have worked to expand our understanding of the biomedicine and ensure young physicians know how to apply that knowledge to heal their patients. They embody the aspirations of Mount Sinai to advance science and medicine in the name of better and more effective healthcare. Congratulations to the 2024 Jacobi Medallion recipients.
I like to give patients hope. Throughout my journey, many patients came to me after they saw 10 to 50 dermatologists. Many of them were like, oh, humor me. At this point, I don't believe anybody. We don't believe you. You will be exactly like everybody else. I tell them, listen, you are with us until we find a solution. Maybe one attempt doesn't happen, but then the second attempt. At the end, we treated them successfully. We are not giving up on any patient.
Emma is a world-renowned leader in the field of dermatology. Her major research focus areas are atopic dermatitis, eczema, and hair loss disorders. And her discoveries constantly lead to new treatments that have transformed the lives of patients across the globe.
Emma embodies the physician-scientist extraordinaire. She's really determined to understand diseases differently and treat it differently. She has transformed the way we treat eczema or atopic dermatitis.
I identified that the underpinning of eczema is an immune-driven disease, that there are some immune or inflammatory products that are misbehaving, right? They are expressed in high numbers. In patients with a severe disease, to really reverse the disease, you actually need to treat it systemically. You cannot just treat it with topicals.
She was really the major center for looking at basic mechanisms underlying the inflammation, but she also made some incredibly astute clinical observations. One of the things she noticed when she was treating her patients who had eczema was those individuals who had a disorder called alopecia areata, which is hair loss, which occurs not uncommonly in patients with eczema.
I think her legacy will be that of a brave physician-scientist that is challenging the statu quo and really creating that type of integrated multidisciplinary teams that enjoy working together towards difficult clinical problems.
I hope that I leave a legacy of thinking about the patient, but going back to the science to enable greater therapeutic development for the patient. What was great at Sinai, it gave me opportunity. We built a department that I think excels in everything. Excels in the clinical world, excels in the research, and it's a department that takes discoveries from the lab and brings drugs to patients. Mount Sinai is my home, and the Jacobi Award is very special to me. I'm super humbled.
Life is full of a lot of unexpected turns and twists. I grew up in Belfast, Maine. It's a small town on the coast of Penobscot Bay. My dad was a small businessman. He was a jeweler, actually. Mount Sinai's given me a career that has been beyond my wildest expectations. I never expected to be a financial leader of an organization that has revenue of more than $11 billion, has almost 40,000 employees. The time went by so fast. Here I am, 33 years later. I've been very lucky and I'm very grateful.
Steve Harvey has played an essential role in ensuring that Mount Sinai's financials are healthy. He's done an outstanding job overseeing our annual operating budget, planning our capital budget, and managing our debt.
He's so good in the role because he cares deeply about getting things right. And he doesn't care about getting it right because that's his job. He cares about getting it right because he really cares about the health of the system. That this is something he's dedicated 30 plus years of his working life to.
People like Steve contribute in various ways. It's not the normal, I'm a clinician, I'm a researcher. Our institutional finances are in his hand.
He developed financial plans that supported 2 successful 10-year research and clinical strategic plans, and played an integral role in aligning the financial policies and procedures across practices when the health system was formed.
When I first came to Mount Sinai back in 1991, the goal was to build a state-of-the-art research building and recruit world-class researchers to the program, and something that the leadership team had not done before. Fortunately, it turned out to be successful beyond our wildest dreams.
Who doesn't know Stephen Harvey? There are many doctors, they don't know other doctors, but we all know Stephen Harvey.
You always know exactly what the North Star is to Steve, and that's fundamentally the mission of Mount Sinai, to care for our patients and to be world-class in research and medical education.
He was a guidance to me in terms of the future, in terms of the present, all the different aspects of the cardiovascular field.
Mount Sinai's been around since 1865. If you're a good financial steward, you want to make sure that the health system's going to be around forever.
I think Steve's an incredibly compelling recipient of the Jacobi Award.
He's the backbone of how Mount Sinai succeeds in everything we do.
The Jacobi Medallion is a very prestigious award. I'm very honored to receive it. I always hope someday I might get one.
The Jacobi Award is true, in general has been given to physicians, but to give this award to Stephen Harvey, I think is perfect. He's essential.
Every time I come up to the campus, I look at these buildings and I have a sense of pride.
Steve is a one-of-a-kind citizen of Mount Sinai.
I couldn't be happier to be a member of a great leadership team, a great institution, and I'm hoping that I can continue on and do good things for Mount Sinai for the rest of my career.
What lies at the heart of successful fundraising is, one, representing an extraordinary institution with a compelling mission. The story of Mount Sinai is a long story that has evolved remarkably over the years, from its beginnings in 1852 to one of the greatest academic medical centers and medical schools in the world. And so the story is one of a commitment to really have an impact.
Mark Kostegan is a visionary development leader. He understands how to convey the importance of what we do at Mount Sinai in a way that makes donors want to partner with us.
Is Mount Sinai an easy sell? I don't think anything is really an easy sell, but it's an easier sell. Our feeling is if we can get in front of individuals who have even the slightest interest, that they will be motivated from hearing that story to help.
He has built a comprehensive fundraising program and increased philanthropic capacity. During his tenure, he has raised $4 billion in philanthropic revenue for Mount Sinai and has led 2 transformative capital campaigns.
I focus more on what did those dollars help the institution to accomplish.
In the campaign for Mount Sinai that occurred about a decade or more ago, I got my firsthand knowledge of Mark because he solicited me. And from that came the Tisch Cancer Institute.
I'm very excited about a lot of things I've done with Mark, but nothing is more exciting to me than establishing the Friedman Brain Institute.
It never gets lost on us that we're empowering extraordinary researchers with the resources to help find cures and treatments that are going to impact the human condition in an especially tangible way.
One of the main reasons we've been able to get to this moment in time and celebrating the excellence of the Friedman Brain Institute is because of Mark Kostegan.
Mark has built a powerhouse team of advancement and development professionals who have vaulted us to, I think, the top of our industry. I've seen this powerhouse perform for us now through 2 capital campaigns and a pandemic. It's very clear that we have something to be really proud of with the house that Mark built.
By honoring Mark Kostegan, we are honoring a man who has made it possible for so many doctors, researchers, investigators to do the life-saving work that they're doing.
In many ways, Mark is our unsung hero.
If you look at what the qualifications are for Jacobi Medallion, it's longevity and having an impact. I've stayed the course for 16 years. I fought and continue to fight a good fight, even though it's not a fight, it's a romance. A wonderful coupling that I would never have expected when I got here 16 years ago, but one for which I'll always be grateful. It really, to have this as the capstone of my career, I couldn't have scripted it better. I really couldn't have scripted it better.
I'm the impossible dream. I'm an immigrant. I was born in Iran. I came here in 1976 and was one of the very few first women in interventional cardiology. You build grit there. It's not an easy field, but I always think about that as fertile grounds of what you can build and what you can do to make it better, to think about what is to come in the future and continue to refine how we care for our patients. And I think Mount Sinai is all about that. It's a legacy that you leave behind and who you train and who you bring up. That's really what I'm committed to.
Roxana is an internationally renowned interventional cardiologist and clinical research expert. She was recently named director of the Women's Heart and Vascular Center at Mount Sinai Fuster Heart Hospital and spearheads a new program that is designed to meet the needs of women's cardiovascular health. Roxana also leads or is involved in hundreds of global clinical trials that improves the lives of millions of patients with cardiac disease.
But she took this field and took it by force. Roxana has really shaped many parts of interventional cardiology to date. As a researcher, as an educator, as a patient care specialist over last 20 plus years, and then Director of Women's Heart Health for Mount Sinai Heart.
I wanted to create a center that had complete focus on caring for women with cardiovascular disease. A place for them to go, to be evaluated, to take a very thorough history of their female-specific risk factors like premature labor, gestational diabetes, the kinds of things we don't usually ask our patients that we know are associated with heart disease in women.
What she accomplished is not only in her research protocols, but also she's a superb teacher. I think her biggest contribution is the number of the people that come and learn from her experience.
I've mentored over hundreds of young trainees. And then, of course, I spend a lot of time on my foundation, Women as One, where I am really hoping to make sure that we provide the support that women need in medicine to match these women to the right opportunities.
Her dedication, her hard work, her mentorship, and excellence drive to be the best educator, investigator, as well as cardiologist. Providing the best care has really exemplified her life at Mount Sinai Heart.
By honoring Roxana Mehran with Jacobi Medallion, we are honoring the whole female population that are in the field of medicine, and it is a lesson for every woman. If your goal is something high, you can always reach it if you put your heart and your mind to it.
When I heard that I was the recipient of the 2024 Jacobi Award, I just was beside myself, honestly, and I could not believe it. And I am just so humbled. To be recognized in that light means the world to me.
When I came to Sinai, I was being recruited to establish the first voice center in New York, where a professional voice user could come and have their needs met from a medical, functional, and emotional point of view. Sinai gave me a new sense of possibilities that could expand my academic career, and I've tried to do that.
Peak is a clinical laryngologist who is expert in treating voice and swallow disorders and is renowned for his numerous contributions to laryngology. He has developed several surgical procedures, including the first commercial high-speed imaging system to evaluate vocal fold vibrations. Peak is also an outstanding mentor who has trained 7 international fellows and 18 national fellows in laryngology.
Dr. Wu has had a tremendous impact on the department as he works to restore the voice and expression and essentially give these patients back their life.
If you're a physician, lawyer, you're a voice professional. You depend on your voice for a living. For a singer, they're living with an instrument, not just their instrument, but it's the embodiment of their soul, their expression of their being.
Peak has explored new visualization modalities over the last decades, creating new technologies, some that we call stroboscopies, to see and visualize the movements of the folds, to classify weaknesses of the folds.
He's had a tremendous impact on restoration of voice, reconstructing these patients, innovative approaches to rebuilding the vocal cord to provide them with a near normal voice.
Our Jacobi Award is the most special recognition we have at Mount Sinai, and it is given to individuals who have changed the medical world. That's what Peak Wu has done.
Some of the highlights that I would personally find most satisfying is that I contributed to the education of 41 years of residents and fellows.
He has shown us in a snippet about what the excellence of a Mount Sinai physician, surgeon, scientist, educator is about. He is the role model of what we try to produce here at Mount Sinai.
That's what makes Mount Sinai such a special place, is that when we walk the halls, people like Dr. Wu, who are the giants, are still practicing and they're still moving forward and innovating.
Many of my colleagues have asked me, well, when are you going to retire? And I say, well, gee, I like what I'm doing. I think that if I can say that I've made a difference in my patients' lives, if I've made a difference in a resident's training, as long as I feel I'm making a difference, why shouldn't I continue to do that?